How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Baking World Tour, where we try and make a bread from every country in the world. And today we're making fry jacks. They are deep fried pieces of dough, commonly eaten for breakfast in Belize. They're super quick and easy to make, but all on their own they're a bit plain. So I've also included a recipe for refried beans. They go really well together as a full meal, so let's get to it. Here's the equipment that we need: a bowl, scales, a dough scraper, a rolling pin. We'll need a pot for frying and something to fish your fry jacks out with. This slotted spoon will work perfectly. Some kitchen towel for draining would go a long way. Now on to the ingredients. For the dough, we'll need some strong white bread flour, water, salt, baking powder, a little bit of soft butter, and of course we'll need some oil for frying. And for the refried beans, we'll need some tinned beans. You can use any beans you like, some onion, garlic, paprika, cumin, salt and pepper, and a little pot and something to mash your beans with. I'm going to use my fork. So first up, let's make the dough. Grab a large bowl, add the water, the salt, and the baking powder, and then give it all a good mix. You want to dissolve the salt before you add the flour. And this is one of the easiest breads you could ever make. It's just 5 ingredients. Mix them all together, knead the dough, divide it, rest it, shape it, fry it. That's it. The whole process would take less than an hour. So I added the butter and the flour to the water mix. I'll grab my scraper and mix this together in the dough. Mix it until it's one cohesive piece and only then tip it out on the table. Now we can start kneading. I will use my regular kneading method. What I like to do is press down and forwards with the heel on my right hand, then using the fingers on my left hand I fold the piece of dough under the heel of my right hand, then turn it and repeat. It may look a little bit sticky at the moment, but that's because there's a piece of butter in the dough. As I keep kneading, this mess will disappear, as you can clearly see. The whole process should not take more than 5 to 6 minutes. And once your dough is nice and smooth, it's ready. It might still be a little bit sticky, but don't worry about that. And the best part about this is, as soon as you mix your dough, you can weigh it and divide it, pre-shape it, and get on with the next steps. Since it doesn't contain any yeast, we don't have to wait for it to rise. So I weighed my dough ball and divided it into 6 equal pieces. After dividing, we need to shape them up. Grab a piece of dough, flatten it out on the table, then fold the edge over the middle, going around in a circle until you reach the point where you started. Then flip it so the smooth side is pointing up and tighten it against the table. Lastly, you can pick it up and pinch the seam together at the bottom. And that's your dough ball done. Now get on with the rest, then put them on a plate or on a tray, wrap them in some cling film, and we can pop these in the fridge to cool down. You want to rest the dough before you roll it out. And this should take at least 30 minutes. And while the dough is resting, we might as well make the refried beans. And this is the simplest thing ever. Perfect accompaniment for super simple bread, right? So cook your garlic and onion with a little bit of oil on medium heat for around 5 minutes. And then follow that with the salt and pepper, paprika and the cumin. Give it all a good mix and then add the beans. You can cook your own beans, you can use tinned beans. But regardless of what you do, you should always keep a little bit of the cooking water or the bean juice behind, because without any liquid this would become very dry very soon. Once all the ingredients have been added, you can start mashing the beans down with a fork and keep cooking them. This should take around 10 more minutes. And the consistency is up to you. If you want them thicker, leave them thicker. I like my refried beans to be a bit chunky, so that's exactly how I made them. Now put these aside, and let's get on with the next steps. The dough balls should be nice and chilled down by now, and most importantly, the gluten in them would have relaxed by now. Trying to roll the dough ball out straight after shaping is quite difficult. That's why the resting step is necessary. And also a cold dough is far easier to work with. So here's how you shape a fry jack. Dust your dough ball with flour so it doesn't stick to the table or to your rolling pin. Start off by pressing it out by hand until it's a nice flat disc, and then continue on with the rolling pin. What I like to do is roll the dough once back and forth and then turn it a quarter turn. And just simply keep repeating those moves. This will ensure that it rolls out evenly and becomes nice and round, well, more or less. You don't have to roll it very thin. This is just about right. Now to make it into a fry jack, simply cut your disc of dough in half, creating 2 half moon shapes. And that's how you do the final shaping on a fry jack. Pretty simple, right? There is another way of shaping them. You could use your scraper and cut a slit in each of the half moon shapes. And the difference between them is that if you keep it whole, it will puff up more as it's frying. If you cut a slit into it, it will stay more flat. You can stack them on top of each other. They should not stick, unless your kitchen is unusually humid and hot. Let's get over to the stove and start frying these up. Make sure that your oil is no hotter than 180 degrees Celsius, which is about 360 Fahrenheit. Of course, don't overfill your pot. You don't want too many fry jacks in there at once. I could have put another one in here. But you want to fry them for about 3 minutes in total, and flip them around every 30 seconds or so. They should bubble up real nice. Once they're nicely golden brown all over, they're ready. Whenever I go to fry something, I always drop in one piece just to test the oil. And if the first one comes out alright, then I continue with the rest. As soon as you take your fry jacks out the oil, drain them on some kitchen paper. If you don't have any kitchen paper, then a rack would be the next best thing. And look at them, they're nice and light, super flaky, no doubt a little bit greasy, but you know, that's a hearty breakfast for you. But I'm not done yet. I want a proper breakfast. A bit of beans and some fried jacks will not do. A couple of nicely fried eggs, the runny yolks is what I want to accompany this. Bit of salt and pepper, a nice high heat for that crispy bottom. And just a couple of minutes later, I've got myself a super hearty and tasty breakfast. This will keep me running for the whole day. That's how you make Belizean fried jacks and refried beans. Very easy, very simple. If you don't want to mess around in the morning, you could make the dough balls the day before and leave them in the fridge overnight. And then just simply, for breakfast, roll them out and fry them up. Same goes for the refried beans. Then can be cooked, chilled down and then reheated. So what do you think of the fried jacks? Is that something you would try? What's your favorite breakfast bread? Let me know down in the comments. And if you have any questions or suggestions, also let me know. Do check out the other videos in the Baking World Tour. I've got some pretty interesting recipes in there. And if you're not already, click that subscribe button, because if you love bread and baking, you've come to the right place. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.